Welcome to Deep Look, Ultiworld's weekly podcast about all the latest in the Ultimate World. Charlie Eisenhood, Keith Raynor with you live every Tuesday, noon Eastern. You know, it's pretty much noon, Keith. It's around
Ultimate
noon.
Time. Do people still talk about Ultimate Time? Is that still a thing?
My uncle has a disc that says Ultimate Time, and it says 8 sharp, and then the clock is 9:20 or something like that. Maybe somebody else in the chat has this disc. I got to get one. It should go on my wall.
I feel like that's dead, but that is a good bit.
Is it dead? I don't know. I feel like if you play pickup, it's still kind of how it is.
Yeah, I think that's just how people are though when you try and get them all together.
My league games always late, always starting late. We got a great show for you today. Sorry for the late start. We had some technical gremlins. We're going to be talking about the all club first teams that just got released yesterday, and live on the show we will be announcing the Player of the Year award winners, and so that's going to be coming up in just a moment. Really excited for that. And I guess are we doing the podium announcements before we get to the trivia question of the week? It's rare if true, but I think that's the plan. So let's go ahead and throw up right now the women's all club first team. This is voted on by Ultiworld reporters. Keith, do we have fan vote at all on these anymore?
We do not.
I forget.
No,
that's
just for the top 25. Yeah.
So this is Ultiworld reporter voted only. Keith and I have our ballots, of course, and there are your top 7. One of these players will be the Player of the Year. From Fury, Anna Thompson. From Scandal, Claire Trope. Also from Fury, Dina Elamelek. From Flipside, Kayla Helton. From Brute Squad, Lev Kovalchuk. Also from Brute Squad, Liv Player. And from Molly Brown, Manu Cardenas. So Keith, a fantastic top 7. You wouldn't really go wrong picking any of these players to win Player of the Year. But I will let you have the honors to make the announcement live here on Deep Look. Who is the 2025 Player of the Year?
All right. The Player of the Year in the women's division this year is Anna Thompson from San Francisco Fury.
Congratulations to Anna.
An incredible accomplishment and very close vote here. I mean, we had a really dramatic finish in the polling, as it were.
So how close are we talking? Are we talking a couple of points?
Literally 1 voting point.
Wow. Amazing. So who was in second? We might as well.
So
let people know.
Lev Kovalchuk was the runner-up here, and was one of 3 people who got a first place vote on a ballot. And basically Thompson and Volchak split across the 2 ballots. But it really came down to the margins. I mean, there were a couple other players who were in first and second from that first team as well. Very, very mixed set. And when we had our in-office debates, very great cases, I think, for a bunch of different players to potentially be this Player of the Year award. But ultimately, the voters very narrowly deciding Anna Thompson was the most impressive among them.
Listen, I want to give Anna her flowers. An amazing year overall. I thought she was extremely impressive at the World Games. She was clearly the best player on Fury this season in an unbelievable season that they had. I think she was a big part of the reason they stabilized and stayed in the final against Brute Squad. She just was had a spectacular season. This is not her first time winning Player of the Year, I will note.
No.
She won the 2019 Mixed Division Player of the Year award when she was playing for AMP. She was also the Breakout Player of the Year back in 2017 and finished second on the podium ballot back then. So that's when she kind of burst onto the scene playing for AMP. A couple of all club first teams in the mixed division. And then she's been, since moving over to Fury, this is now her 3rd all club first team selection. She was second on the podium ballot in 2021, finishing behind our fabulous producer Lindsay Sue on the podium that year. And I mean, she's clearly been a top 10 player in club, not like whichever division she played in, pretty much since like 2018, 2019. And now gets her second ever Player of the Year award, and well deserved.
With a World Games gold medal to boot this year, I mean, we're talking Hall of Fame already, right? Like 2 podies, multiple titles, world titles as well, like USA representation at the highest levels. We've got another Fury Hall of Famer on our hands. I'm pretty sure. And I see the
I think you're right.
1819 nickname. I love it. 1819.
So awesome stuff. I will say, Anna was not my pick at the number 1 spot on my ballot. I gave it to Manu Cardenas, who I thought had just an unbelievable nationals and was fantastic at the World Games. I felt like, I get it. Anna was the best player on the best team. I have no qualms. It was very close decision for me between her and Manu and Levka. Those 3 like really separated, I thought. But Manu's ability to like bring this Molly team back from kind of a terrible season to having like a pretty darn good nationals was enough for me to give her the number 1 spot. But I have zero complaints with Anna winning this award. But I think it goes to show you why it was so close.
Like Manu was tremendous in nationals. Lefko was Claire Trope, Dina Lamela, really the whole first team, and even beyond. Like at the margins for the first team was tight as well. So this was a really top season, I think, for the best players in the division.
Awesome stuff. All right, let's move to the mixed division. Let's take a look at the all club first team in the mixed division. Aaron Bartlett from Hybrid, Jolie Krebs from Exist, Rachel Mast from Hybrid, Robin Fenig from Tower, Sadie Jezerski from Exist, Tanner Johnson-Go from Sprocket, and Travis Dunn from Lawless. Good season to be a FMP handler. I mean, Krebs, Fenig, Jezerski all cooking in the backfield, and obviously Rachel Mast, unbelievable downfield. Once again, like, would you really be stunned if any of these players won Player of the Year? I don't think so. Keith, the honors are yours. Who is our 2025 Player of the Year?
7 players and 3 regions across these across this top 7. But yes, our Player of the Year in the mixed division is Rachel Mast from Ann Arbor Hybrid. Just had like so exciting to see a player who had to miss the end of a title run come back and be just dominant, really from the beginning of the season to the end.
A super well deserved win for Rachel Mast. I mean, what more do you want? Like, she was the driver of their offense all season long, and I feel like Hybrid's offense was kind of their stronger unit this year. Not that their defense was bad. Obviously, they were the best team, clearly. But they just kept going out there, and everybody knew Rachel Mast was the player that they had to stop, and they couldn't do it. So obviously surrounded by some fantastic teammates, but she was spectacular. I mean, in the post-game interview after the finals, Aaron Bartlett was like, Rachel Mast is my pody. Or did he say my goat? I don't remember. But awesome season for Rachel, and of course, alongside a title, it's got to feel good.
And a player who like doesn't have the steeped background of some of the other types of elite level players. Someone who like I didn't even know that well a couple of seasons ago, made Team USA, and that kind of felt like a surprise. It really kind of broke out last year, I think, on the elite club scene. But really turned it on. I think has that kind of rare ability that we see from Player of the Year candidates to be the best offensive player and best defensive player on the field. I think if she had been on Hybrid's D line, like we might have been talking to her as a potential D-Pody, because she's that good a defender. That said, another vote in which it literally came down to a single voting point.
You're
Rachel
kidding.
Mast taking this award over Tanner Johnson-Go.
Wow.
So those two really at the top of the heap in the division right now.
I mean, obviously, Tanner is fantastic. He had a ridiculous stat line at Nationals: 17 goals, 28 assists, 4 blocks, and 6 turnovers. Um, so hard to blame anybody for voting for him at the top. Rachel Mast, 12 goals, 2 assists, 3 blocks, 3 turns, but it honestly understates her impact. She's just constantly open for them. So, like, yes, she's a big goal scorer for them, but it's also just about her overall play and her ability to get the disc back after turnovers is huge. So, uh, well deserved. This is her first appearance on a club, an all club first team, or an all club team of any kind. But I think maybe we are a little late to the Rachel Mast hype train. But not this year,
As
Keith.
as Joe is pointing out in the chat, that 2021 was her first year playing Club Ultimate. So this is not someone who's had a ton
Wild.
of experience. She'd played like a couple of local
Absolutely
leagues
wild.
before that, and now she's player of the year.
Incredible. What a come up. So let's move to the men's division. Let's take a look at the all club first team on the men's side. Christian Boxley from Truck Stop, Don Desmarais from Machine, Declan Miller from Sockeye, Jacob Fairfax from Ring of Fire, John Randolph from Pony, Mac Hecht from Revolver, and Micah Glass from Rhino Slam. For me, it really comes down to who wins between Don Desmarais and Mac Hecht. Don was the best player of the regular season. I think you can make a case that Mac, with the title win, had the better nationals. And that's going to be what it comes down to. Keith, the big reveal. Who's winning it this year?
The men's division player of the year for 2025 is Don Desmarais from Chicago Machine.
The correct choice, in my view, Keith. He was spectacular in 2025. Truly amazing. Like, ascended to being the number one player on the planet. And I don't think many people would disagree with that right now.
I agree with you that I think that would be the popular choice. And I think he was the favorite after the truly unheard of statistical performance he had at the club championships. But I did find there was a pretty compelling in-office argument made for Heck. This one did not come down to the final vote or anything, but Don just an overpowering presence on the field. Someone who just feels like they're involved all the time. And even if it doesn't necessarily feel like he's like making every big play all the time, it does feel like he's just constantly in the game. So that ever present, plays offense, plays defense, plays a lot of points in a row, guards some of the best players, gets guarded by the best players, constantly getting touches. Like it's just like has a certain inevitability to him.
Don, final official stat line from Nationals: 20 goals, 24 assists, 4 blocks, 0 turnovers. It is stunning. And we are going to debate whether he should have a turnover.
Tease.
It has
tease,
been it has been an incredible debate about whether he deserves a drop assigned to him. There's a clip we're going to show you a little bit later on in our mailbag question of the week. So stand by for that. And I don't know if Keith and I are going to be on the same side on this. So it could be an incredible debate here on Deep Look too. Yeah, look, Mac had a great season, but what Don did, I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine Chicago without him. Like, where would they have been? He papered over so many problems for them. Just an unbelievable player right now.
And 20, she's what, 24, right? Like if that, there's a lot left in the tank for this guy.
And Eslaj notes in the chat, or maybe Eziaj. I even with my glasses, I can't read. Don is the first European player, or any player, to win the European Player of the Year award and the U.S. Club Player of the Year award in the same season from Ultiworld. It's obviously just like incredibly rare.
Yeah, we're in a unique time. I mean, we got European players all over the podium, so It's exciting.
Very exciting. So great stuff. All club first teams. Truly impressive just to make the list at all. By the way, Don Desmarais was on the podium last year. He was third behind Rafi Hayes and Chris Kocher. He did, of course, make the all club first team last year. So back to back for him and his first podium award. And it feels like he could get some more if he continues to play in the U.S. Keith, that does bring us to our trivia question of the week.
All right, Charlie. So we just went over the first club, all club first teams. Somebody on that list is on their, I believe, the record holding 7th straight all club first team. Who
I'm
is
going to
it?
say easy. I'm going to say it's an easy answer. At
Chat,
least I think it's easy.
Think about who has 7 straight all club first team selections and who that could be. Who's been steady at the top for all these years. Now also steady at the top is our friends over at Breakmark. If you need to stock up your team or just upgrade your gear this year, then you need to check out Breakmark. They offer great gear bundles to save you money. And be sure to follow them on Instagram because it's also their 20th anniversary, and they're doing weekly giveaways on Instagram so make sure that you're following them there. And they've been adding awesome new products this year, like their sleeveless hoodie, tights. They've got crop tops, and they've dropped the price of their jerseys down from $60 all the way to $35. That price, they just locked it in until the end of the year. So you got to visit breakmark.com while you can get that deal so you can get those $35 sublimated gear. Charlie, easy, he says. Does he have it?
Should I say that? The person that came immediately to my mind is Kayla Helton. Oh! You hate to hear the buzzer. Okay, give me a second to think about it more then.
Kayla Helton on 4 straight first teams.
7 straight. 7 straight. No, I know it's not Anna Thompson because I was just looking at that. 7 straight. Well, I mean, it can only be one of 21 people because we just looked at the lists. Let me consult the current year list. I'm not going to cheat, I promise. I just want to make sure that I'm thinking thoroughly about it. Probably Manu then. Okay, then Claire Trope. I guess that's not nearly as easy as I thought. Oh God, this is brutal. Put me out of my misery, Keith.
Trope is a good guess. 5 straight for Trope. But in the chat, somebody got it. Nate in the chat. And Ezyaj, we still don't know how to say that. It's Robin Fennig with 7 straight across the women's division and the mixed division. Robin has been on the first team for 7 straight years. I think the only person who had a streak that long or near that long was Chris Kocher, had been on 6 straight up until this season. So they were both tied, I guess, with 6 straight. And Chris had 7 straight prior to this year. He would have been 8 this year. So Robin now joins
generational run
as a 7-year straight.
Yeah, and Robin's got a pody mixed in there back with Scandal. Robin stays winning and is playing for the beach U.S. women's national team coming up next weekend in Portimao. So look forward to seeing her out there. She's going to be throwing some dots out on the beach. And it might be a little windy, so she's going to have to bring that cannon with her. Let's see. That's amazing. 7 in a row across like 2 divisions and 3 teams? 4 teams? Probably she won with Heist a couple times, right?
I don't know if she got it with Heist. Definitely not. Noise, Scandal, Tower. Yeah, I don't know if she got
Maybe,
in with Heist. Yes, she did. She
may-
did in 2018.
there
Won
it is.
Opody and was first team with Heist. She was on the second
Uh,
team the first year that we even gave the awards out in 2013, and she's still making first teams. She was on the second team in 2013, still making first teams now.
12 years later. Amazing. Um, she's gonna she's gonna talk trash to me next time that I see her because maybe in Portugal for not knowing that she's got 7 in a row.
Unreal.
Um, all right, let's see. Uh, we are. Oh, before we go to break, Keith, big news in your neck of the woods. Division 3 College Ultimate. They have expanded the size of the schools that are eligible to play in D3. It's been a 7,500 in student enrollment cap for since this division started, I believe. And it is now going to be 10,000 students starting in 2026. So they're going to open up a, good chunk of schools into at least the option to go D3. Keith, does this make you nervous as the title, you're trying to go back to back here?
I'm shaking in my boots. I mean, they're maybe Syzygy is going to go D3 now. I don't know. No, it to be clear, Syzygy not affected. They were obviously already eligible to go D3. They're at first blush, like there are just not that many schools, I think, that are probably going to make the change. It is a little strange that it's happening like 2 months before spring ultimate kicks off. So it's like, your entire season could be changed right now.
It is
In
true.
theory, some of these biggest schools are going to be some of the strongest potential D3 teams. So you're not just disrupting things by like putting in new teams, you're potentially putting in new powerhouse teams. But I don't think there are that many teams when I actually sat down and like tried to go over some of the school enrollments that could change. It's always a little bit wishy-washy because you don't know. I don't know exactly which numbers USA Ultimate looks at. And like there are literally schools that are within like 100 projected enrollment uh, people that could make the difference. I don't know how stringent they are going to be. I think William and Mary is probably the most notable program from a competitive success standpoint that
Mm-hmm.
I actually could see switching. Like a team that was not eligible before is eligible now potentially. But again, that'll depend on what happens with their registrar and what their actual enrollment numbers are, because a lot of those schools are right around the 10K club. Well, no more 7,500 club. It's got to be the 10K club. But the idea here is not necessarily, I think, to affect national competition so much as it is to fill in regional competition. More teams so that conferences and regionals can have more participation, and teams don't have to travel as far to find competition. I don't know how much it's going to affect probably the regions that are the most hurt by that, which are already large geographic regions like the Northwest and Southwest. Uh, but there are some of the um, probably some of the Cal State schools that could potentially move into this space. There's some like North Central schools like in the University of Minnesota programs, or the University of Wisconsin setup that
Yeah, like
those ones we could
the
probably move
satellite
in.
campuses. Yeah.
Yeah, Stevens Point,
Um,
Platteville, that stuff.
I mean, look, this sounds like a bigger thing than it actually is, I think.
Yeah.
That USAU says the change is expected to impact 6% of women's teams and 8% of men's teams. But here's the thing. For the vast majority of those teams, this is going to be a benefit because they simply aren't big enough to be competitive at the D1 level. And so this lets them have like a more meaningful competitive season in Division 3, and like maybe have a pathway to going to nationals or even winning a championship. So I wouldn't be surprised if they bump this up again in the future. Like you have to find that balance. And I
Maybe to
wonder if there's an
12K or something
opportunity
like
for
that.
them to, yeah, or if there's an opportunity for them to like have like an option for teams to apply to go D3 even if they're over the cap. I was reading about somebody posted in our Discord about a school that has like just slightly more than 10,000 students, but the large majority are are like online students or something. So they just like have no hope of being competitive in D1. But I like that they're being responsive. They did signal that they were thinking about doing this, even though they hadn't announced it. And hey, I would rather that they just get it announced and they just do it like they're doing here, because teams don't have to actually make a decision about D1 versus D3 until February or March.
Well, so I also I neglected to mention Alabama Huntsville, which is also a notable. They were in the regional final in the women's division a couple years ago, and they were obviously their men's team went to D1 nationals. So that's a program that also could be impactful that I think potentially is eligible to switch divisions. They usually, if you play at D1 nationals on the D1 track, I think you have to wait 3 years before you can return to D3.
You don't just get to
they
go
are waiving that
on D3
for these schools. So these schools that if you are now eligible, that window is going to be open to you even if you were at D1 nationals last year. And for teams that are trying to stay D1, you have 3 years to meet the strength requirements to stay D1. I guess you can't otherwise you will be forced to play D3 or something like that. I think that's right. So
I think that's right. Yeah. I think you can't just get crushed in D1. I mean, I don't know why you would, but anyway, cool to see. I think a good sign that USAU is continuing to invest in D3, which is, I think, doing really well. I thought last year's D3 Nationals was really exciting. We had some great games, some great storylines in that division. It's never going to be D1 Nationals. It's not going to get the same kind of hype and buzz and everything, but this is a genuinely competitive and fun division right now. And the talent is starting to flow from high schools into these D3 colleges more. Keith, your program has certainly been a beneficiary of that. And
yes.
So should be a great season in 2026.
Yeah, the division's in a really exciting spot. There's a lot of really talented young players in both the men's and women's division of D3 right now.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking Beach Worlds, and then we've got perhaps one of the spiciest mailbag questions of the year. College Fall Ultimate as well. We've got some results from CCC and Blue Ridge. We'll be back. Highlights. Check them all out on our YouTube. We've got game recaps. All the finals are up over on YouTube. We're back on Deep Look. Let's keep it rolling. Beach Worlds is coming up. It starts on Sunday this coming weekend. That's the 16th. It's in Portugal this year. This is the biggest Beach Worlds maybe ever. They're basically at the point, Keith, where they need to split the Masters divisions off from the regular divisions the way they have for the World Ultimate Championships, because it's getting unwieldy. I think there's almost 140 teams at this year's Beach Worlds. So it's gonna be jam-packed. It's in the Algarve region in Portugal, down in the southern coast. And it should be extremely exciting. This is the one world tournament where it doesn't feel like the US has that air of inevitability. Obviously, the US has done plenty of winning at Beach Worlds, but they've also lost some notable contests, losing in the semifinals in the mixed division to France 2 years ago. And we've got some heavy hitter teams in the field this year, Keith.
Definitely, and you're right. While the U.S. is the favorite, we've obviously seen them lose, and it's a different environment. It's even smaller than what we see at like the World Games, which feels like it's a bit of an equalizer because we've seen how many other countries. If you only need 6 really good players, 8 really good players, it's a lot easier to compete with the U.S. I think than it is when you need 20. So, different environment, different type of game. Other countries, I think, play a lot more beach as well. So
Absolutely.
it makes for a unique experience. And, I think the U.S. is going to be, of course, one of the favorites in every division, maybe the favorite in every division. I don't maybe they don't deserve that, but we know it'll be competitive at least.
Well, I mean, USA in the open division has to go up against France, which this year is not piling everybody into their mixed team. They're kind of splitting their best players across open and women's. So in pool play, the U.S. will play France that has Elliot Bonet on the roster, Leo Stangenek, Paul Benvenien, Quentin Roger, SPS, like a lot of these guys who are killing it for France at the World Games. That's going to be a tough test, like right away.
Definitely. I mean, in pool play, there's no chance, right, that this French team is going to finish 8th. Like, they're clearly better than that.
No. They are probably a podium team.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that with like any kind of certainty, but them, Canada, I don't even. You have to kind of dig into rosters to like really have a good feel. But like Germany could be pretty good. But yeah, I think France, to my eyes, France looks like the second best team in the division.
I mean, just going off like grass talent and stuff. Don't forget Belgium and beach talent.
I shouldn't doubt Belgium.
We're going to talk a little bit about Belgium. They're 13th seed. I will be surprised if the player of the year in club division finishes 13th.
I take it all back. I knew that this Belgium team was really good. They're just so far down the seeding that I didn't see them at my first glance. But yeah, I mean,
they're basically the
like
moon
catchers squad.
Yeah.
Plus some of the gentle guys. Like this team is nasty. I mean, you've got the Yonkers brothers, you've got Don Marais, of course, Soph Bontom. So they're looking very, very dangerous, Keith.
Yeah. So and Canada's in a pool with them, so that's a tough draw. But it's a big tournament. It's a lot of games, and I would not be surprised to see a couple upsets. I don't really know where they're going to come from, but it's certainly possible.
The Canadian team looks good, but I feel like Belgium's probably the favorite in that matchup. I mean, you got some big names on there: Malcolm Bryson, Mike McKenzie, Oscar Stonehouse. They should be solid, but I feel like I give the edge to this super explosive Belgian side with a lot of really high quality throwers.
Yeah, don't the in Canada the small sided games they play are all indoors, right? They play indoor for so
do they have beaches in Canada?
I think it has coasts, but I don't know. Maybe they're on Great Lakes. Yeah, we're gonna get crushed by Hackney for this conversation. Yeah, you might be right that Belgium maybe should be the favorite in that matchup.
I think so. I mean, just having Don alone feels like a kind of a cheat code right now.
Do we want to talk about who's actually on this US team? Like, do people know?
Yeah, we should give people the rosters because I think a lot of people maybe looked a long time ago but don't remember. So why don't you give us the open division roster?
Just top to bottom?
Yeah, just read it off.
Aiden Downey, AJ Merriman, Antoine Davis, Ben Yacht, Brett Holzmeyer, Charlie McCutcheon, Christian Boxley, D. Lee from Rhino Slam, Daniel Lee, Jack Hatchett, Johnny Malks, Lucas McClamrock, playing with the U.S., not Germany. Rowan McDonald, Raquan Atkins, Rafi Hayes, Thomas Edmonds, also coming back to the U.S. Troy Holland, Tyler Monroe, and Xavier Payne make up the U.S. Open Division roster.
Yeah, they're pretty good, Keith. They they are obviously going to be the deepest team at the tournament. The question really comes down to like, how's the chemistry and how do they play on the beach? Like that's the way that they could lose. But I have a hard time seeing this team losing, even to the super talented like French and the Belgians.
Truck stop reunion team, like what? It's all truck guys. Like 2/3 of the roster has played for truck at some point.
Well, they used to pick these teams by like picking your friends. That's not the way that they do it anymore. But
supposedly,
I do think that they go for the built-in chemistry a little bit sometimes with the team selections. All right, mixed division. France is the 1 seed, but they're not the best team. All the seeding is based on last cycle's results. Spain is the 2 seed. They made the final. They lost to France in the final. It's between them and the U.S., I think, as to who is going to win the mixed division. But I admittedly I don't know a lot of the names on this Spanish mixed team, but they have been destroying teams in warm-up play over in Europe. And they obviously were very good last cycle. The word is they're better. And mixed was a little susceptible last time, Keith, as we saw. Could this Spanish team beat the U.S. and win in the mixed division? Seems possible.
I don't know. I can't say like I got to give Spain their credit. I'm just going to assume that they're really good, even though I got to say I'm not super familiar with the players on this roster. A roster that does have some people I'm familiar with. There's 2 European rosters that already have drawn my attention that maybe could outperform the Spanish team. One is Germany. Lev Volchak, Aaron Wolf, Linnea Siebert, Lisa Schutz, Nikki Prien, Nice Sontag, Paul Herkins. Like this is a really strong German roster. Charlotte Saul, Ava Mueller. They're stacked.
It's literally better
they
than their world
arguably
games.
Could be the favorite. Yeah. The other one is Italy, where you'll find Fantini, Laffi, Lagalla, Scazzieri. They also look pretty strong. So those European teams, I think, could be real threats, maybe even outperforming Spain and the U.S.
Here is your U.S. roster. Abby Chang, Brandon Van Dusen, Caleb Denacor, Cheryl Sue, Connor Belfield, Danielle Simonelli, Dina Elamelek, Aaron Schroeder, Harper Garvey. Well, he's out, sadly, with the injury from Nationals. Kayla Helton, Caitlin Rowling, Kelly Highland, KJ Koo, Khalif El Salam, Lucas Ambrose, Marquez Brownlee, Sarah Mextroth, Sean Mott, and Simon Higgins. I think Sean Mott is the replacement for Harper. He doesn't have a number listed. And I know I was literally talking to some of the coaches at Nationals, and they were discussing like who should replace Harper. And I think they went with Mott. Obviously a great team, Keith. But they're going to have their hands full in this division with the teams that you mentioned, plus Spain.
Yeah, and because the seeding's so wonky, that is a great team. I do think this is a danger zone though for the U.S. I think this may be the division in which they're most likely to lose in. Maybe I'm crazy for that, but it's hard to know because you really don't know how teams are going to translate. A team like Spain might be really good. What's Singapore going to do? What's India going to do? The Philippines, historically a strong beach representation. So like, it's hard to know exactly how teams are going to translate, but
should be exciting. How about the women's division? What should we be looking out for there?
Oh, well, here the top seeds are the U.S. and Canada, and I think that kind of the expectation is going to be that those teams are going to be the cream of the crop. The Canadian roster, Mary Eve Boscheman and Alex Benedict, Erica Edgel, Ella Bolin, Crystal DeSantos, Jolie Valencerina, Tiama Leal. Like this is a very strong Canadian group as well. So this is a place where like essentially like a Japanese team could emerge and be a strong competitor, but there aren't a ton of teams that I feel like I looked at and saw like a team that felt super underseeded. The French again have a pretty good roster with Lisan Bourneau and Chloe Olivier, Chloe Valet. So a number of their World Games players. The French maybe are the one exception to that as the 8th seed.
We should have mentioned Canada in our discussion of the mixed division. By the way, I think there's a case to be made that this is their best of the 3 rosters, like relatively. Beaudry, Kalefas Mott, Justin Podnar, Toli Vasiliev, who's still a monster on the beach. To this day, I've never seen a better play than Toli Vasiliev in a game I was playing against him when I was playing with the United Arab Emirates team at Paganello in 2012, I think. Made like a head high, massive 6-foot layout D. I have never seen anything like it, and it's imprinted into my mind. Anyway, back to the women's side.
Remember we beat them in mini? Remember we beat Toli Vasiliev in mini once?
I do. In Golden Gate Park, right?
Yeah, I think we lost like 3 games, but we won 1.
Should be really exciting. The U.S. team. Here we go. Abby Thorpe, Alex Barnett, Bridget Meisner, Claudia Tajima, Dawn Colton, Ella Jungst, Jamie Erickson, Jordan Sorensen, who's been cooking for grit, Krista Pajunas, Lindsay McKenna, Maddie Cannon, Maggie Rudin, Makeda Matamore, Becky Malinowski, Robin Fenig, Sadie Jazerski, Sam Rodenberg, and Shayla Harris. Shayla Harris about to eat playing Beach Ultimate, Keith. That's nasty team. Obviously going to be the favorites.
Yeah, I agree. This GB team also has some talent. Maybe they could have a surprise run and represent Europe well, but we'll just have to see. I do think this feels like the most top heavy division to me.
Yeah. Let's take a look at some of the streaming schedule. It is an unbelievable amount of games because, of course, short rounds on beach. So you've got 6 rounds a day typically that will be streaming. This is day 1. Japan, Portugal is the opener. We are hoping for nice weather, but nice to have the home team in the home game, as is the normal case, and that is free to watch right here on our YouTube channel. So if you want to just check out that opener, we will have showcase game every round, along with 3 all access games for all access subscribers and event pack holders. And every single team in the primary divisions of mixed, open, and women's will be streamed. We're also streaming all of the gold medal matches in every single division and most of the bronze medal matches as well. So if you're a
that includes
you're a
Masters,
diehard
right?
fan,
medal.
Yeah, if you're a diehard fan of Great Grand Masters Ultimate, we got you for the gold medal match. The showcase fields in the early days are like a mix of kind of like fun and interesting matchups, and then some like real heavy hitters. I don't know that we get any of those heavy hitters on day 1. I mean, GB Columbia could be pretty good in the open division, but let's keep it moving. Take a look at Saturday or Monday. Don't go backwards in time, folks. Canada Belgium Open should be awesome right off the top. I'm excited to watch Germany India mixed later in the day. And so, I mean, Keith, I don't know if you want to pick a game out here, but it's an unfathomable number of games.
It's so many. Canada, Belgium Open, and the 2 that you highlighted are 2 of them that draw my attention quite a bit. Karan Sharma up against Germany in the mixed division, and that Canada Belgium Open game should be pretty important for both teams, with 2 of the podium level teams going head to head.
Love it. Let's keep going. We're only going to go a couple days in here because then we start getting into power pools and unknown matchups land. France, Spain, women's division should be a good one. And then USA, Italy mixed. USA, France, women's. That should be a fantastic game. The French women's side looks really strong. France, Canada mixed. games really start getting good as we get a little deeper into pool play. You can go to the next slide. And this rounds out our Tuesday coverage. USA France Open. That's going to be must watch. A couple of Spain Australia games in the mixed and open divisions, and Singapore Belgium Open. I mean, don't count out Singapore. They are tough on beach.
I mean, they've been good on grass lately. Yeah, definitely
No doubt.
don't sleep on Singapore.
No doubt. So the schedule rolls on. There's a look at the finals schedule there at the bottom. We've got the Masters Open and Masters Women's games on Friday afternoon. A couple of the other finals in the Great Grandmasters divisions on the All Access fields, and then all showcase games on the final day for Masters Mixed Open. A Beach 4 showcase as WIFDIF continues to try to make their pitch to the Brisbane 2032 Olympics, trying to get in with the 4-on-4 model. And then the Open and Women's Finals, which will both be free on our YouTube channel, along with that Beach 4 showcase. So lots of free games this year, but we would love to have you join us as a subscriber. Get into the Discord. You know, of course, get all of the coverage with an all-access subscription or an event pack. And it should be a great week from Portugal.
Just another plug that if they're going to make another division above Great Grandmasters, Legends is the name of the division. Just roll with it.
That's just it, right? Once you get to Legends, that's it.
You can't go any higher, right? Then
what's the Great Grandmasters age cutoff right now?
I really don't know. I couldn't even tell you.
I'm going to look it up. I got to know. It's Great Grandmasters is 48. For men, so 45 for women.
So Legends would have to be like
what?
Upper 50s,
55 and
60s?
older.
Yeah, something like that.
55 and older, and like if you want to play, we're not doing like Great Grand Legends, you know.
Well, I mean, I guess how different is your body from 45 and 55? I haven't gotten there yet, so I don't know. But you know, if you want to do 60
I think it's
plus,
probably starting
Legends.
to get pretty different.
Legends. Honestly, they should have done it for Great Grandmasters, but it's just so long. It's so many characters for Great Grandmasters.
All right. So stay locked to Ultiworld all week long for coverage from Beach Worlds. Portugal is 5 hours ahead of U.S. Eastern time. So the afternoon games will be on, late morning, early afternoon in the U.S. So set your calendars and get ready to roll. Let's see. We got some college action this weekend, Keith. CCC, Blue Ridge finale. Where do you want to start?
Why don't we do a Blue Ridge finale first?
We had Sean Ryan and Ofudge too. Forgive me for not mentioning them.
Yeah. We have a bit of a surprise in the, it's fall, so you don't get too overwhelmed, but out at Blue Ridge, where North Carolina, we kind of counted them out. They went out and dominated. They won all their games very comfortably and won it. But Virginia getting a win over Vermont in pool play, and then UNC also beating Vermont in semifinals. Michigan was the other semifinalist. North Carolina over Virginia 14-5, in the final. So an impressive showing for UNC. And are you have any concern for Vermont right now?
We talking 2-bid AC? We talking 2-bid AC?
Oh, that could be fun. It's been a while. I'm ready to bring it back.
Virginia lost to UNC 15-9 in the finals of AC regionals this year. And I don't remember exactly where they finished, but we were kind of close. Who knows, right? It's fall. Yeah. At Commonwealth Cup last year, Vermont beat Virginia 15-7. But I do genuinely think Vermont is not as good this year. And I think Virginia is probably in a peak season. And I like the AC's chances to get 2 bids. And this really confirms that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna worry too much about it in the fall. Although Vermont typically is super deep, and so them playing open lines versus other teams playing open lines in the fall usually works out pretty well for them because they bring in a lot of experienced players and a ton of athletes, and they're also somehow. I've been playing against Vermont, coaching against Vermont for 10 years now. Always tall. I don't know how they do it. They always have some really tall people, but yeah, I'm a little surprised to see them having some fall struggles, but these are elite teams, so I'm not too worried about their program generally.
I believe you picked Virginia, did you not? Or did I pick Virginia?
Uh
Either way, Carolina blowing past expectations, I think, with the
yeah,
level
we
of
both
dominance they
faded
showed.
Carolina. I remember that.
Um, okay, how about CCC?
CCC, well, we talked about the two heavy hitters, and then I tried to get cute, and that was the wrong thing to do. It was Colorado and Carleton in the final, and I think this went down to Universe, but
It did.
Colorado getting the win over Cut in the final. Georgia Tech and UNC, the other semifinalists.
You can watch the finals with an Ultiworld subscription on ultiworld.com. Yeah, I think it was a great game. Somebody said in the chat, like, lock in for Colorado versus Cut in every tournament final this year of notable events where they both play, and that's definitely possible. I mean, these two teams in Oregon feel like a cut above.
Yeah, I mean, we just announced Declan Miller as all club first team, and now he's playing college ultimate. It's like, and not the only one. I mean, Elliot Hawkins for Colorado in his sophomore season also looked like just in another league from a lot of players. So this we have a real chance of having like a run it back semifinals in D1 men's, and both Carleton and Colorado could be number 1 and 2 all season long. I think that's very possible.
Georgia Tech makes the semis along with UNC. They lose to Cut and Colorado respectively. What else do you take away from CCC, Keith?
I heard that this Georgia team looked pretty good, so that's something to keep an eye on. We talked about some of the buzz for Penn State and Georgia Tech. I guess Georgia Tech wins the kind of a buzz off there between the two teams. But otherwise, I think just looking at which players look good is probably better than looking at which teams. I haven't had a chance to crunch through the footage, but I definitely saw some chatter in the Discord.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, Georgia Tech finishes 4th ahead of Pitt, ahead of Brown, ahead of Georgia. Feels like a pretty good sign for them. Um, no, the cavalry isn't coming to save Wisconsin, Keith. I I think I'm ready to just say that they're just simply not an elite team anymore. Like they might. I don't know if they're gonna stop getting invited to tournaments, but we're bordering on that. Like, they're still gonna get to go to this and to warm up and stuff, but are they gonna get invites to Smoky Mountain and stuff like that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean they've been, this is kind of where they've been for years now as a
I
bottom
know.
end of these elite tournaments. UNC Wilmington's kind of in the same spot, but have not really threatened to be a nationals team. It's a far cry from the glory days for their respective programs. Um, we'll know over in the women's division, which is a lot smaller. They just had a round robin. Florida comes out and gets the win. Georgia going 4-3, the host team, and I think arguably the favorite. Texas also went 6-1, as did South Carolina in the women's division side.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see what happens in the Southeast this year, on the women's side. Okay, OFudge. I believe it was Ego versus Ego alum in the final. I think Ego wins again, is what I read. So, no surprise that Oregon is winning this tournament. But the fact that they beat their alum is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I bet you that's a pretty competitive game between the two. I don't know exactly what news to take away from this. It's fall. Western Washington losing to Washington in Pool D. That maybe is cause for concern for a Western Washington team. We're kind of like thinking, hey, this could maybe be a top 10 team this year. Oregon State also should be pretty strong this year. Crazy to me still that UBC went all the way to Georgia when this tournament was a lot closer.
Yeah, I think somebody posted it was 15-11 Ego in what is called the Jannon Cup. which I love. All right, let's see. Last one was Sean Ryan. This is the Southern California preseason tournament. Keith, what to know from there?
Well, I believe it was Cal Poly Slow who, or not Cal Poly Slow, excuse me. The Slugs that took down the win. I got the wrong SL in my head. Slugs taking down this one, and I think are probably the favorite in the Southwest. I do think that we might see Slow, who ended up finishing fifth, take a step back. But big ups for the Slugs. I know we got fans in the Discord and usually in the YouTube chat. So this is the time to live it up.
Yeah, Slugs, UCLA, Cal, Utah, Slow, Santa Barbara, Stanford, and Gold Rush, which I assume is a YCC youth team. Yeah, pretty interesting early look, but I think it was kind of like a mishmash of results. If I recall, like it's impossible to read these Google sheets, and they don't put the scores in. It is such a disaster to follow college ultimate. Like even during the regular season, it can be hard sometimes. But these Google sheets, like there's no scores. Like what's happening? But I think there was like a bunch of different kinds of upsets and things like that. Don't be surprised if we see some tumult in the Southwest. My question is, how many bids is the Southwest men's going to get this year?
That is an annual soul searching question, I think. The women's division we stopped asking because it's I can't count that high anymore. But in the men's division, they've been burdened with being right on the fringe of getting another bid. It feels like every year, sometimes down to like decimals. If they're going to get a bid, I mean, it feels like two, but could they be a one bid region? Is that crazy?
I think it's 1 to 3.
I gotta think.
I mean, slow might be better than you're seeing from this meaningless fall tournament.
Yeah.
I have a lot of faith in slow being good in the end. Maybe not, semis, but still a nationals team. We'll see. We will see. All right. Let's see. Reg Rigby in the chat says, I'm just checking the chat. Slugs only got broken once on the weekend. So that's obviously very promising. Oregon was missing 3 rookies for OFUDGE due to U20s, played open lines and won comfortably. I guess
that's
Sean
a crazy
Ryan is in
thing
Northern
to post.
California.
They were missing 3 rookies, 3 people who've been playing college ultimate for 2 months, and wow, so we can't count their results. No, I'm just kidding. I get that their rookies are very
real
good.
Though. The rookies are crazy good. So
I mean, Oregon has a great recruiting class. Don't get me wrong.
All right, I think it's time. We're getting to it. The mailbag question of the week. Keith, here it is. The debate. Is this a throwaway or is this a drop? Set up the context of this for us, please.
So this comes from Machines semifinal against New York Pony. Don Desmarais is the receiver. Johnny Bansfield is the thrower here. And particularly because there was such a sharp focus on Don Desmarais' turnover column, which at one point I believe said 1. USAU had it down to 1. And someone from Ultiworld actually went and said it should be 0. Is that right? Do I have the right?
Noah Brinkworth, who was our video editor this on site on the weekend, went and tracked it down because apparently Don was saying he hadn't turned it over, and he found the play that was assigned to be a turnover for Don, and it was clearly not. It was a mistake by the scorekeeper, and they officially changed it in the stats.
So arguably,
now to be fair, there are lots of mistakes that get put into these stats, so none of it's perfect. But when we're talking about no turnovers versus turnovers, it's a big deal,
right? This may be Don's first turnover, depending on whose fault you think this turnover is. I'm gonna have producer Lizzie Sue roll the clip here.
All right, let's watch the tape. Johnny Bansfield to Desmarais. kind of like a half fall down layout, and it hits his hand and he doesn't make the catch. Here it is, another angle. Going to ground. And it clips off his hand. So Keith, I already have a very strongly formed opinion about this, but I will let you go. Is this a throwaway on Johnny Mansfield, or is this a drop for Dande Murray?
I'm surprised.
Put your thoughts in the chats, folks.
This started. I'll give people a chance to put their thoughts in the chat before Charlie and I really go in, because this started with Edward Stevens and I, who were discussing this play at Nationals in the media tent, because we didn't quite see the same perspective. Edward is very close to if the receiver is anywhere within 10 feet of it and doesn't catch it, it's not only a drop, but like they should be cut. Like, you are an embarrassment to your family. You should be disowned. Like, that's Edward's mindset when he's on the field. So that's how he sees players. But Charlie, because you have such a strong feeling on this, I kind of want you to go first. Actually, I want to hear where your sentiments lie.
Fine. People, put your thoughts in the chat. Here we go. This is 100% undoubtedly a throwaway. Okay. Now look, if I'm Dande Murray, do I think to myself, I should have caught that? Yes, of course I do. But as an official statistic decision, it simply has to be a throwaway. That is not a routine catch that you should expect somebody to make. He's having to fall down to make the catch. And what more do you need to know? Like, if this is a football game, no one is saying that's a drop. Like, it's just not a drop. It's not an ordinary effort to make the catch, which is the standard that the NFL uses for a catch versus a throwaway. Like, it is, for me, very clearly a throwaway.
Charlie, I started this debate in your position, but I've come around. I've been shown the light by the droppists out here. Our producer Lindsay Sue is going crazy in the chat. Firm believer that this is a drop. And while I make fun of if the receiver even touches it, they should catch it, I think that's ridiculous to remove the context. But it does hit him in the palm. Like, he's not. It's not. I agree with you. It is not a easy, simple catch. But
not even close.
He hasn't left. He hasn't left the ground. There's no defensive pressure, and it hits him in the palm. Like, that to me might be enough to shift me to drop here.
Is it a play that you expect to be made a lot of the time by elite players? Sure, because they paper over thrower mistakes all the time. But that is a throwing mistake. That disc, like, to me, an ordinary effort that would be considered a drop is something that hits you, like, not necessarily like directly in your gut, like a clap catch in the middle, but like, I should only have to like reach out in front of me to catch it. I shouldn't have to lunge. And this is way beyond even a lunge. Like, this is not even really a borderline play for me. I don't care if it hits him in the hand. Like, if he laid out full extension and it hit him in the hand, no one's calling that a drop, right? This isn't that different than that. He's having to fall down to make this play. It has to be considered a throwaway. Like, from a statistics, like, record keeping rule, who's more at fault here? Clearly the thrower. A better throw is completed.
Can we run it one more time, producer? I want to look at something specific here. So I want to look at Dande Murray's position relative to the trajectory of the disc and the end zone. So as he's going to catch it, you can see that white line in front of him. God, there's way too many lines. Like, I think he can go wider. I think he did not get the right angle on the disc, and he cuts more towards the thrower than he needs to. Like, he cuts the angle short when he could have run wider, which I think is what Mansfield wanted to keep him in the end zone. I think that is also a component of making a good catch. Like, for example, if a player just misreads a huck, you give the receiver the turnover, even though they didn't touch the disc, right? Like, I think that is another component of this catch that makes it more on the responsibility of Don. It is not to me a
Right.
clear 100% it's the receiver's fault versus the thrower's fault. I think this is
Let me see it again.
right in the gray area, but I actually think that I'm
Let me
going to
see it again.
go with Don DeMarie's fault.
This wide angle, I want to watch it again. One thing I haven't seen really well stated is that DeMarais is attempting to remain in the end zone to make this play, and that is the reason that he did not catch this. And if he did what he said, which is like to go more angled out towards the back towards the backfield instead of going along the face of the end zone, that he would have made this play. I am more compelled by this than any argument about it hitting his hand. Okay. So now I must admit, I am wondering now if I'm going to waver because the angle of his cut could have been different. Because to some extent, the cutter has to make the right decisions. Like, you can't just run away from the disc and be like, "Oh, that's a throwaway," because it didn't come into the breadbasket when they could have made the catch routine. Now, I'm not sure this is a routine play either way, but I am more towards neutral now because I see what you're saying about the angle of the cut being aggressive in order to try to score rather than just trying to secure the catch.
Now, many
But it
people
makes it even more difficult then to make a scoring decision.
many people have talked about Don DeMarie's reaction, and I agree with all of them that if you ask Don, he probably says, "I should have caught this." But what I
Anyone
haven't
would
heard
think they should
anybody
have caught it.
I haven't heard anybody ask this question. What does Johnny Bansfield think? Does he think I should have thrown this with more float? Like
I've never
it
wanted
dropped
Johnny
down to the
Bansfield to
ground?
be in the chat more. I wish he was here.
I bet you that
At
Johnny
the disc
Bansfield
says
wants that throw back.
yes, 100%. I mean, that's my point, right? Like, this is a throwing mistake that is trying to be blamed on the receiver. I will say though, I feel like Don could have just gone back to get it and maybe made it an easier play. But
Also, maybe a good
it's
spot
super
for the
borderline.
baseball slide. Maybe a good spot for a baseball slide instead of extended. But yeah.
At the
Advanced
disc says
Ultimate
Charlie
says
used to be somebody.
Advanced Ultimate says I should have gone to more practices is probably what Johnny was thinking.
Well, that's a crazy one, but it was ultimately assigned, in my view, correctly, especially without the benefit of 100 looks at it in replay, to Johnny Bansfield as a throwaway.
It was
You can't.
Ultiworld's also our
If I was
stats
on the
did not
sideline
assign
taking
it as a
stats,
turnover.
100%, I would have marked that as a throwaway.
The person doing the Ultiworld
100%.
stats marked it as a throwaway. So that's this.
Correct.
It's funny to me that some people were saying in our Discord that this is the blue dress of Ultimate. Like because some people are looking at this and like, how can anybody see anything but what I see? Like it's clearly
black and blue,
one or the other.
black and blue, white and gold.
Yeah.
I wish we had that to put up right now.
Which do you remember what you
Wait,
saw?
Well, let me just.
I remember. I saw black
Google
and blue.
it right
I
now.
don't.
Okay, I see
I don't
white
know
and
how-
gold.
I don't
Right now
know
I
how
see
people
white and
see white
gold.
and gold. It like doesn't make sense to me.
Hang on, I'll share my screen and we can all look at it together.
Daniel Wood asked a good question, which is there a rule that you can't hand out a throwaway and a drop on the same play? There's not really a rule because there's not rules about stats, but the problem is Charlie brings up the blue dress. How can anybody see white and gold? It's like my brain is broken conceptually by this.
To me,
it's like
to me, very
so
clearly white
black.
and gold here.
Ridiculous.
100% white and gold for me right now.
The reason we
this
don't
is the
give
gift
both
that keeps on
players
giving.
the reason we don't give both players the full stat is because then you end up with a mismatch number of player turnovers and team turnovers, which can be confusing. You could do the 0.5 turnovers, which is a potential solution, is to give both players a responsibility. But then you also open up, now there are other turnovers that you're then deciding about, okay, is it a 1 for one person or a 0.5 for both people. So you'll still end up having these conversations eventually.
All right.
I'm the only one who's blue and black right now. It's crazy.
People in the chat saying white and gold. That was a fun moment on the internet. I don't know if we've had a fun moment on the internet in a long time. Our producer says blue and black. So Keith, you and Sue are aligned. What is that?
Thank you.
I remember reading about why people see it differently, and I don't remember. I have seen it blue and black. It has happened, but I usually see white and gold. So I don't know.
This is going to be our sub bonus. So we're just going to
we're gonna hash this out again. All right. We got anything else? I think we're done.
That's it.
Next week, we've got some champion interviews coming up, I believe. So we're going to talk to some of the club champions on Deep Look next week. And we'll see you a little bit later on in our subscriber bonus segment over in our Discord. So don't miss that. For Keith Raynor, I'm Charlie Eisenhood saying so long. If you're heading to Portugal, come say hi. I'll be there. Get in Friday morning. So looking forward to seeing everybody out there in Portimao. For Keith Raynor, I'm Charlie Eisenhood saying so long. And we'll talk to you next week right here on Deep Look.